Greetings, fellow history enthusiasts. Today, we embark on a thrilling exploration of the 7 deadliest battles in history. Get ready to witness the courage, strategy, and sheer chaos that defined these monumental clashes. Battle 1, the Battle of Thermopylae, 480 BCE. The Battle of Thermopylae, which occurred in 480 BCE, was a legendary engagement between the Greek city-states, led by King Leonidas I of Sparta, and the Persian Empire, ruled by King Xerxes I. It took place near the narrow pass of Thermopylae in central Greece and has since become renowned for the bravery and sacrifice displayed by the Greek forces. The Persian forces, led by King Xerxes I, launched several waves of attacks against the Greek defenders over the course of 3 days. The Greeks, firmly holding their ground, successfully repelled the Persian onslaughts, inflicting heavy casualties on the Persian troops. However, on the 3rd day of the battle, a local resident named Ephialtes betrayed the Greeks by revealing a mountain path that allowed the Persians to outflank and encircle the Greek position. Realizing their precarious situation, King Leonidas dismissed most of the Greek forces, ordering them to retreat and regroup. King Leonidas and a small contingent of Spartans, Thespians, and Thebans remained behind to cover the retreat and fight to the death. They valiantly held off the Persians but were eventually overwhelmed and killed. Their sacrifice bought valuable time for the Greek city-states to prepare a united defense against the Persian invasion. Battle 2, the Battle of Hastings, 1066. The Battle of Hastings, fought on October 14, 1066, was a pivotal event in English history. It marked the culmination of the Norman conquest of England and resulted in the Norman victory over the Anglo-Saxon forces. The battle took place near the town of Hastings in East Sussex, England. On October 14, 1066, the Norman army landed at Pevensey in southern England and began marching inland. Harold Godwinson, having just defeated Harold Hardrada's invading forces at the Battle of Stamford Bridge, swiftly gathered his army and marched south to confront the Normans. The Anglo-Saxons took a defensive position on Senlac Hill near Hastings, constructing a shield wall formation to protect against the Norman cavalry charges. The Normans launched multiple attacks throughout the day, attempting to break through the Anglo-Saxon defense. The Normans utilized archers to weaken the shield wall and launched cavalry charges to disrupt the formation. However, the Anglo-Saxon shield wall held firm, repelling the Norman assaults. Late in the day, rumors spread among the Norman troops that William had been killed. This caused some of the Norman forces to retreat, prompting a disorganized pursuit by the Anglo-Saxons. Seizing the opportunity, the Normans regrouped and launched a counterattack, routing the pursuing Anglo-Saxons. King Harold Godwinson was killed during the battle, and without his leadership, the Anglo-Saxon resistance collapsed. The Normans emerged victorious, marking a significant turning point in English history. Battle 3, the Battle of Aancour, 1415. The Battle of Aancour, which took place on October 25, 1415, was a significant engagement in the 100 Years' War between the Kingdom of England and the Kingdom of France. It occurred near the village of Aancour in northern France and is renowned for the extraordinary victory achieved by the English despite being heavily outnumbered. The English, positioned on a narrow and muddy battlefield, awaited the French advance. The terrain, coupled with the longbowmen's range, presented a significant advantage for the English. As the French knights charged forward, they encountered a barrage of arrows from the English longbowmen, causing chaos and disruption in their ranks. The muddy ground further impeded the French knights' progress, making them vulnerable to attacks from the English infantry and men-at-arms. The English forces, coordinated by King Henry V, exploited these advantages and engaged in hand-to-hand combat with the disorganized French troops. The battle lasted several hours, with the English forces maintaining their defensive positions and repelling the French assaults. The French suffered heavy casualties, including a considerable number of nobles and knights. In contrast, the English losses were relatively minimal. Battle 4, the Battle of Waterloo, 1815. The Battle of Waterloo, fought on June 18, 1815, was a decisive engagement that marked the end of the Napoleonic era in Europe. It took place near the town of Waterloo in present-day Belgium and pitted the forces of Napoleon Bonaparte against a coalition of European powers led by the Duke of Wellington and General Gebhard von Blücher. The battle began in the morning of June 18, 1815, with the French launching a series of attacks against the coalition positions. The French initially made progress, capturing the farmhouse at Hougoumont and launching cavalry charges against the coalition lines. However, the coalition forces held their ground and repelled the French assaults. The British troops, positioned in the center of the coalition line, withstood multiple attacks from the French and maintained their defensive squares. Throughout the day, the battle ebbed and flowed, with both sides launching offensives and counterattacks. However, the turning point came in the late afternoon when General Blücher's Prussian forces arrived on the battlefield, attacking the French right flank. The arrival of the Prussians caused the French army to become stretched and overwhelmed. The coalition forces, taking advantage of the weakening French position, launched a final assault. The French resistance crumbled, and the battlefield descended into chaos. Napoleon's army was decisively defeated, and he was forced to abdicate a few days later, effectively ending his rule and the Napoleonic era in Europe. Battle 5, the Battle of Gettysburg, 1863. The Battle of Gettysburg, fought from July 1 to July 3, 1863, was a significant turning point in the American Civil War. It took place in and around the town of Gettysburg, Pennsylvania, and involved the Confederate Army of Northern Virginia, commanded by General Robert E. Lee, and the Union Army of the Potomac, led by General George G. Meade. The Battle of Gettysburg began on July 1, 1863, when Confederate forces clashed with Union cavalry units outside the town. The fighting quickly escalated as both sides rushed in reinforcements. Over the next 3 days, the battle raged across a series of engagements and tactical maneuvers. Key locations such as Seminary Ridge, Cemetery Hill, Culp's Hill, and Little Round Top became focal points of intense fighting. The Confederate forces launched repeated attacks, attempting to break the Union lines and gain control of key positions. The Union defenders, despite being outnumbered in some areas, managed to hold their ground and repel the Confederate assaults. On the third day of the battle, General Lee ordered a massive infantry assault known as Pickett's Charge, targeting the center of the Union line on Cemetery Ridge. The Confederate attack was met with heavy artillery and rifle fire, resulting in devastating losses for the Confederates. After 3 days of intense fighting and heavy casualties on both sides, the Confederate forces were unable to achieve their objectives. General Lee made the difficult decision to retreat, and the Union Army emerged victorious at Gettysburg. Battle 6, the Battle of Midway, 1942. The Battle of Midway, fought from June 4 to June 7, 1942, was a crucial naval battle between the United States and the Empire of Japan during World War II. It took place near the Midway Atoll, a strategic outpost in the Pacific Ocean, and resulted in a decisive victory for the United States. The Battle of Midway began on June 4, 1942, when the Japanese launched airstrikes against Midway Atoll, aiming to neutralize the U.S. airfield and draw out the American carriers. However, the U.S. forces were prepared and launched a surprise attack of their own. American carrier-based aircraft targeted the Japanese carriers, inflicting significant damage. In a remarkable turn of events, American dive bombers scored direct hits on 3 of the 4 Japanese carriers, Akagi, Kaga, and Soryu, causing catastrophic explosions and forcing their abandonment. In the meantime, the Japanese carrier Hiryu retaliated by launching airstrikes against the USS Yorktown, severely damaging the American carrier. Despite the damage, the Yorktown remained afloat, and the U.S. forces swiftly counterattacked, sinking the Hiryu. Realizing the devastating loss of their carriers, the Japanese forces were forced to retreat, conceding defeat. The Battle of Midway marked a significant turning point in the Pacific War, as the balance of power shifted in favor of the United States. Battle 7, the Battle of Normandy, 1944. The Battle of Normandy, also known as D-Day or Operation Overlord, was a pivotal military campaign during World War II. It took place from June 6 to August 25, 1944, and was a massive Allied operation aimed at liberating German-occupied Western Europe. The battle marked a turning point in the war and set the stage for the eventual Allied victory. On June 6, 1944, known as D-Day, the largest amphibious invasion in history took place. Approximately 156,000 Allied troops landed on the beaches of Normandy across 5 designated sectors: Utah, Omaha, Gold, Juneau, and Sword. The invasion force consisted of soldiers, paratroopers, and naval and air support. The assault faced significant challenges, including heavily fortified German defenses, beach obstacles, and intense enemy fire. The American forces at Omaha Beach, in particular, encountered fierce resistance and suffered heavy casualties but eventually secured the beachhead. And there you have it, the 7 deadliest battles in history. These conflicts shaped nations, tested the limits of human endurance, and left an indelible imprint on our collective memory. Remember, history teaches us valuable lessons, and it's crucial to strive for peace and understanding. If you found this video fascinating and informative, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to Robot Ray channel for more incredible explorations of history. Thanks for watching, and until next time, keep on exploring.